Thank you everyone for coming tonight. It's lovely to see you all. I'd like to begin. My name is Michael Stanton. I'm the President of Liberty Victoria. I'd like to start tonight with an acknowledgement of country by Auntie Eva Jo Edwards. Auntie, if you and if we could all please welcome Auntie to the stage.
Hi everybody, welcome to your event this evening. As it is an acknowledgement of country, my name Eva Jo Edwards and I'm a proud Bunurong Muddy Muddy Yorta Yorta woman, and I will acknowledge the country on which we are gathering this evening, which is the Kulin Nation. We are on Wurundjeri land, and I humbly pay my respects to the ancestors of the past and thank them for their courage and resilience which have been passed on to us during our journey on earth. I respectfully acknowledge all elders and warriors, past and present, here today, and we have the responsibility. We'll start again, I apologise. I'm a little bit distracted here too. She's lovely. Okie dokes, and I respectfully acknowledge all elders and warriors, past and present, and our Creator's spirit, and I also acknowledge all Aboriginal people here today, as we have the responsibility to shape our future and role model our strength and wisdom to our younger generations. To our future generations who are yet to begin their journey or even walk on their country, we look forward to the future you will create and the pride that you will bring us. Aboriginal people have an epic tale of survival and adaptation. Strip away the present layers of buildings and freeways and suburbs and try and imagine the distant past. You will come across the land of healthy waterways and vibrant forests, lagoons and wild grasses, basalt plains and rivers. To our stolen generation survivors, I acknowledge them and their journey and the strength of survival. And our non-Aboriginal brothers and sisters, we ask for your respect and understanding whilst we walk our journey and find our way on this land. And I think we all have a responsibility, and I still do believe that I have a voice and that we as Aboriginal people will always have a voice. So thank you, enjoy your evening. And to all the award winners, congratulations. To the those that were nominated, congratulations. Have yourselves an absolutely fabulous night. And I need to leave, and I would have loved to have stayed around, but out the back there are my two grandkids, 6 months and 2-year-old, and they've come along for a little drive, and I'm off to country now. So have a fabulous evening, take care, and thank you for having me.
Thank you to Auntie Eva Jo Edwards. Friends, colleagues, I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands where we gather this evening, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I'd like to pay my respects to all First Nations peoples joining us tonight and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Welcome to Liberty Victoria's Voltaire Human Rights Awards for 2023. It's wonderful to see so many friends here tonight. Thank you again to Auntie Edwards for that gracious acknowledgement of country. And at the outset, I do have something to say about the referendum. It'd be amiss not to. At Liberty Victoria, we strongly supported the Yes campaign. I'm very proud of our work in that space, in partnership with others, including the Victorian Aboriginal Community Controlled Health Organisation. And I'd like to also acknowledge Gemma Caffarella's work for us in relation to the Yes campaign. We partnered with our brother and sister organisations, New South Wales Council for Civil Liberties, Queensland Council for Civil Liberties, and we saw what was coming, I suppose. We saw that politicians spoke out of both sides of their mouths. We were told that the voice is radical and would do too much. We were told that it was powerless and would do nothing. We were told, if you don't know, vote no, which wasn't a call for people to seek to understand the voice or its significance or the impact it would have. It was a call for people to vote based on fear of the unknown. And clearly the result was very disappointing. There was misinformation, there were mistakes in messaging. Once the opposition decided to oppose the referendum, it was very difficult to see it ever succeeding, realistically, given the lessons of history. But we must also acknowledge that we're dealing with the new reality of social media echo chambers. The sad reality is that a groundswell of volunteers and door knockers and goodwill can't compete with a targeted algorithm that can reach thousands of people in a second. We've seen it with Brexit, we've seen it with Trump, and we're now seeing it closer to home. So as a civil liberties and human rights organisation, we're going to have to adapt, find ways to communicate beyond traditional means in a way that's ethical but effective. We need to reach across the aisle. There's no point just preaching to the converted. And we need to be resolute now to stand against those who would seek to exploit the referendum result for other purposes and wind back hard fought for victories. It feels like the battle's really just beginning. It's also concerning for us to consider the consequences of the referendum for other big ideas and law reform more generally. Having been stung by the referendum result, will the government retreat from big ideas, at least for this term? Perhaps most notably, where does this leave a Federal Human Rights Act? At Liberty Victoria, we have been calling for that for over 3 decades. In 1995, we produced a publication together with what was then Legal Aid Australia, named Talking Rights, a Bill of Rights for Australians. And I know this because I'm part of an organisation with Jamie Gardner, and Jamie Gardner keeps the receipts. So if anyone would like to see it, this is the pamphlet from 1995. We've been talking about this for a long time. Over the past few decades, we've watched on while comparable nations have enacted human rights legislation, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, and of course the United Kingdom's Human Rights Act. I'm proud to say that on the 25th of August this year, we gave evidence to the Commonwealth Parliamentary Joint Committee inquiry into Australia's human rights framework. And I gave evidence along with Professor Spencer Zivchak, who's here tonight, and we were proud to share a table alongside our colleagues at the Human Rights Law Centre, and I wish to acknowledge other people who gave evidence to that inquiry, including Ro Allen, the Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commissioner, and their team, who I'm pleased to say are here this evening. As we submitted to that inquiry, a Human Rights Act, a Federal Human Rights Act, is necessary. We know from our experience in Victoria that it would preserve parliamentary sovereignty. It would constitute an incremental, responsible and rules-based reform. It would help foster a human rights culture and improve decision-making. It would help improve access to justice, particularly for vulnerable people. And I want to acknowledge others who assisted with our submission to that inquiry, many of whom are here tonight, including Julia Kretzenbacher, Greg Buckhorn, Catherine Brown, Gabrielle Chipkin and Yvonne Kushner. Thank you for your work on that submission. I'd also commend to anyone here that wants to read about what a difference a Human Rights Act would actually make in practice to read the Human Rights Law Centre's publication, 101 Cases of How Charters of Human Rights Make Our Lives Better. It's a brilliant publication and it shows how a charter will work in practice. So we need to keep the pressure on. We can't retreat because it's all just too hard or because there will be misinformation. We have to reflect, recharge and return to the fight. But it's not all bad news. I suppose this is the good news part of my talk this evening. There have been some incredible victories for the human rights community more broadly. We've just had Alcatab overturned in the High Court in NZYQ, which is... I think I saw a tweet, or whatever it's called now, by Felix Ralph saying that when he read Alcatab in law school, it just seemed, who's here tonight, I think, Felix is here tonight, it just seemed wrong. And it did seem wrong, and thankfully now it's no more. And I just endorse what Hannah Dickinson, our Secretary and Principal Solicitor at the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre, said, that this decision will have real life-changing impacts for those who have been deprived of hope, liberty and security for years on end. Then we have Benbrika and the Minister for Home Affairs, where citizenship stripping powers were found to be unlawful. And it appears that Chapter 3 might be making a resurgence. And I commend Isabel Skaburskas and the team at Dugan George, who are here tonight, for their work in that case. What an important case. We'd also like to acknowledge the work of Matt Albert and his team, formerly of our policy committee. You should be here tonight. We're going to claim you tonight, Matt, for winning in the High Court in Young and Chief Executive Officer of Housing, with the High Court deciding that remote housing tenants can be compensated for the impact of dilapidated accommodation. So there's some really encouraging signs federally. It'll be an exciting time to see what jurisprudence emanates from the High Court. In Victoria, we've had some victories. We've had the government's announced bail reform. Of course, it doesn't go far enough, but it's a step in the right direction, especially the abolition of bail offences and the double uplift provision. And we acknowledge tonight the family of Veronica Nelson and so many people here and more broadly who have fought so hard in that space. We've finally had the abolition of the offence of public drunkenness in Victoria, and we acknowledge the tireless work of Tanya Day's family, winners of our... They were acknowledged with winning the Voltaire Award in 2021, and it looked like things were going to be put on the back burner, but finally that's happened. We've just had the ACT announcing that they'll increase the minimum age of criminal responsibility to 14. And that's thanks in no small part to our Voltaire Award winner for this year, the late Sophie Trevitt, and the team at Change the Record. So being here tonight makes me feel very thankful to be surrounded by so many people who will fight to make our laws fairer and for the rights of the vulnerable. And we're here to celebrate the achievements of our amazing winners, and you'll hear more about them throughout the evening. Just briefly, tonight is in part a fundraising night. It's the main annual fundraiser for Liberty Victoria, and I'm not very comfortable talking about money or fundraising, but it is something that we need. We need support, and we need support from members. We need support from people that are willing to be regular givers, and we need support from you all tonight, because to keep doing the work that we do. And it's been a very busy year, and perhaps I'll talk a bit about the work we've been doing later. It's been a very busy year, and for us to keep doing the work we've been doing, we need support, and we need to combat what we've seen in the referendum. We need to combat misinformation, and we need to find new and better ways, or more effective ways, of communicating. So thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for supporting Liberty Victoria. Just by attending, you're supporting us. And please, if you get the opportunity tonight, think about getting a raffle ticket. There's some amazing items that'll be raffled off. Think about bidding on the silent auction. There's 2 tables set up for people to bid on, and all proceeds will go to enable us to continue doing the work that we do. So, I'm going to begin this evening by acknowledging the Voltaire Empty Chair Award winner for 2023, and that's Victor Yamo. And I don't know if we've got the slide coming up in relation to Mr Yamo, but I'm pleased to say that there'll be, just to give you a bit of a roadmap for this evening, there's 3 awards, and we're also very lucky to have, very fortunate to have Nick McKenzie, the award-winning investigative journalist, giving a keynote address at the end of the evening. So you'll hear first the award from the award winners, the empty chair, then we'll have a break, and then we'll have the young Voltaire winners and an acknowledgement of Sophie Trevitt winning the the Voltaire Human Rights Award for this year, and then we'll have a break, and then we'll come back and do and welcome Nick McKenzie to give effectively the keynote. So that's the plan. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome Julia Kretzenbacher, our immediate past president, to the stage to say some words about Victor Yamo and his advocacy and why he's such a deserving winner of the Voltaire Empty Chair Award for 2023.